Okay, so we're holding by the third of the Mem Ches Kinyanim She'Hatayr Niknis Behem. The third, we started out with Talmud, then we had Shmias HaOzen, and today, we'll discuss momentarily the Midah of Arichas Sfasayim, speaking properly. Aruch, like Aruch HaShulchan, Shulchan Aruch, it should be organized, set, so your lips, your speech should be set, should be proper. Rav Matisyahu Solomon points out that every single morning in davening, we say in Avarabba, we say in the bracha, V'sein b'leveinu l'hovin, u'lahaskil, l'shmoya, lilmoid, u'lilamed. Okay? Based on what we've understood so far, so Havana in Askala is that we should have this capability to learn Torah. We should have the potential to learn. So we have Lahavin Lahaskil. Then we have Lishmaya, which is Shmias HaOzen, the midah we discussed yesterday. Because without Shmiya, you can't get anywhere. So you have Lahavin Lahaskil Shmaya, then you have Lilma. In other words, Havana and Haskalah are part and parcel of the first midah called Talmud, learning, having the Messiah from our Rebbe, which we discussed, based on the Maharal, is having clarity of understanding and having a full picture. Then we had Lishmaya, the capability to internalize. And now we have Lilmoid, which is Arichas Vasai. In other words, the Maisa mitzvah of learning Torah, sitting down and actually learning, Lilmoid, that is the midah of Arichas Vasai. Speaking, having proper and appropriate speech. The Gemara in Eruvin, Daf Nun Gimel, going on to Nundala, tells us that Bruria, the wife of Remeir, she found this Talmud Chacham that was learning in whispers. He wasn't speaking out the learning. He wasn't saying it out loud. Batshabei, she got disgusted with him. She rebuked him. Amrale loikach kosov arucha bechol ushmura. That if you speak out your learning, then you will have it shemura. It will be guarded. It will be protected. You will remember it. If it's set, if it's organized in all of your body, then it will be guarded. And if not, your learning will not be guarded. That's the Gemara. So it's clear from the Gemara that Bruria, based on her statement to this Talmud Chacham, she's saying if you speak out your learning, and it's not only b'lechisha, but rather b'kol, if it's spoken out, then you have the capability to remember it better. You have the capability not only to remember it better, but to be more well protected. Shemura eitzlacha by you. And if you don't learn that way, rather you just view it with your eyes, you contemplate the ideas, you think about them, you look at them, but you don't actually speak them out, you don't actually verbalize the concepts, then it won't be Shamura Eitzlecha. The Gemara over there continues, Rabbi Eliezer, one of the great Tanoim at a Talmud, that he learned Belochash, he learned in whispers, he learned quietly, and he forgot after 3 years all of his learning. If he's a Talmud of Eliezer, you can only imagine how great he was. And despite his godless, nonetheless, he lost it all because he only learned Belochash. The pasuk tells us in Mishlei, Ki chayim heim lemotza ehem, ulechol besar merape, that Torah is considered chayim for anyone who finds them. And it will heal all of your body. The Gemara darshans al tikrei lemotza ehem ela lemotzi ehem, bepeh. That it's chayim, Torah will be chiyus, so will give life to those who verbalize them, who express them not only to find them, but those who express the words. So we see from all this the great importance and how necessary it is to not only learn the concepts, not only to read them with your eyes, think about them, contemplate them, to meditate on ideas. We actually have to verbalize the ideas clearly in order to that for Torah to be guarded by you. There's a famous Hakira that Rav Matisyahu here declares. He asks, when we say they have to verbalize it, does it mean that I have to say it out loud, speak it out loud, or is it enough if I read it and I speak it, but I don't actually make the words audible. I don't actually say anything. I'm just reading it with my eyes and I'm speaking it out with my lips, but I don't actually hear it. Is that good enough? So Rav Matisyahu asks this kasha, stadim lakan lakan. The Rambam tells us, anyone who verbalizes his learning when he learns, he will last by him and retain the learning. And if you read quietly, quickly, you'll forget it. Based on this Gemara and Erevin that we just discussed. Furthermore, the Rambam here is talking about somebody who's learning by himself. He's talking about somebody who learns by himself. And despite the fact that he's learning by himself, he has to say the words. It's not enough just to read them over. So it seems that the Rambam's telling us they actually have to verbalize in an audible way. On the other hand, the Achreinim, in particular, Chaim Volozhiner, amongst others, say that the reason that you have to Arichas is so important, the reason that you have to verbalize the ideas, even if you can't hear them, is the famous concept that's made known in the name of Reb Chaim Brisker. Reb Chaim Brisker said famously, if it's felt in Havara, it's felt in Havana. If you're not able to express the concept, that means you don't clearly understand that which you are thinking. If I have a concept and it's a little, I know kind of sort of what it's supposed to be, but I'm not able to actually pin it down with words, then I don't have a crystal clear picture and understanding of that concept that I'm thinking about. It's a little bit here, a little bit there. It's kind of like this, kind of like that, but it's nothing really. And so Reb Chaim said that if you can't express the concept to others, if I can't explain it to somebody else, that means I currently am lacking in my understanding of this savara that I'm thinking. So if that's the case, it doesn't need, you don't actually have to audibly hear the words coming out of your mouth. It's enough just to have them organized. It's enough to speak it out in a way. You don't have to hear it, but it has to be able to be spoken out. So we see there's two ways to approach this. And perhaps Rav Matisyahu says that both of them are true. In other words, there's a maila in just the mere fact that I have the words to express the concepts. That shows a clarity of understanding of the concepts that I am learning. If I read it and I speak it out and I express the concept, I don't just think about it. So that shows a greater understanding, a greater clarity of the savara that I'm actually approaching. But says Rav Matisyahu, if you want to remember it, the Rambam is also true. A maila, a great way to help memory work, is to actually say the words with your mouth and hear it with your ear. To actually speak it out in a way that you hear it, that not only helps for clarity, but it also helps for mishtameres biyadu, to retain the information, and you should be able to keep it for a very, very long time. This concept of Arichas Mamish is very important, especially when you're learning with others in a chavrusa, you're learning especially not in person, the greater that you verbalize the ideas, right? The greater that you're able to express the concept, and it's not, I know what you're saying, I have an idea of what you're saying, then it will clarify the matter that much further. You don't know how many hours of chavrusas were wasted based on false and misunderstandings of assumptions. I thought he meant, when he said the word chazaka, I thought he meant this. When he said the word umdana, I thought he meant that. But really, when I said the word chazaka and I said the word umdana, I meant something completely different. And therefore, you have a whole machlekes that could go on for 20, 30, 40, 50 days at a time based on a false understanding, a misconception of what my hanacha, my assumption was. So speaking out as much as possible allows for a much greater degree of clarity. And I heard from a friend of mine who's an English teacher. He said when he has to present books to the class, when he has to present novels or literature, that night before or the week before, whatever it is, at home, he reads the book, but he reads it out loud. And the reason he reads it out loud, he told me, is because that helps him remember the book that much greater. If he reads it with his eyes, even if he reads it slowly with his eyes, he won't have as great a retention, he won't have as great an understanding of what he's actually reading. If you read in a way that you verbalize every single word that comes up on the page, that your retention will be 10 times better, and your havana will be that much clearer. So both of these yesodis are very, very fundamental and very important, especially when we get to the maise of limud, the maise mitzvah of Talmud Torah, which is to sit down and actually learn. There is an importance of actually speaking it out and not just looking it over with your eyes and thinking and contemplating, which are also important. But that's not the end of the day. That's not where it finishes. In fact, the Gemara tells us that Eidin Zomamin is a lav sheyesh bo maise because arichas fos of a person speaking. There's a person speaking. That's considered a maise. So by Talmud Torah, the maise mitzvah of Talmud Torah is not the contemplation or the meditation. The maise mitzvah of Talmud Torah is actually reading the words and speaking it out and verbalizing it, that which is on the page in front of you. Hopefully this will help us have a greater understanding, a greater clarity, and a greater attention of all that which we learn.